Hello, salam alaikum, and good morning, my dear friends. It's me, Ahmed Rashid Ahmadzai, again with a new English lecture, starting with the name of most merciful and most compassionate. Before starting our today's lecture, I want you all to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important main tense in English grammar, which is called simple present tense. As I mentioned in my previous video, that there are three main tenses in English grammar, which are simple present, simple past, and simple future tense. That today we are going to talk about the first important main tense, which is called simple present tense. Before talking about simple present tense, I want to give you a definition about the tense. What is tense? Tense talk about occurrence, non-occur action. Also, we consider tense show the time of the actions, or when the action happened. Tense talk about the time of the actions. Okay, let's talk about simple present tense. What is simple present tense? Simple present tense talk about those actions which are happening repeatedly, or those actions which are happening usually, or those actions which are happening regularly. Simple present tense, it means talk about repeated action. All the definition are pointing on one purpose, which is called those actions which are happening regularly or repeatedly. Okay, now let's talk that where can we use simple present tense. As I mentioned, the simple present tense shows repeated action. Okay, now let's talk about the usage, that where can we use simple present tense. The first place that we can use simple present tense is to talk about the habits. It means we can use simple present tense to talk about those actions which are happening habitually. It means when we are talking about our habits, or when we are talking about habitual actions which are happening repeatedly or regularly on the time, we can use from simple present tense. For example, I eat egg at breakfast. It means it is my habitual action to eat egg in my breakfast. I'm habituated to use it or to have egg in my breakfast. I'm not having anything else in my breakfast, so it is my habitual action. And also there is another example for habitual action. For example, Ahmad only listens to pop music. It means Ahmad has been habituated to listen to pop music. Ahmad is not eager or not fan of any other kinds of music. Okay, let's talk about the second usage of simple present tense. The second usage of simple present tense is we use simple present tense to talk about repeated action. As I mentioned in the first definition about simple present tense, it means that we use simple present tense to talk about those actions which are happening repeatedly. For example, I teach English every afternoon. It means that every afternoon I am teaching English. It is completely repeated action. Every afternoon which comes, I am teaching English. As well, there is another example. It rains every morning. It means that in Afghanistan we can say that it is only an example, that it only rains in morning. It means it is happening repeatedly. Let's talk about a third usage of simple present tense. We also can use simple present tense to talk about general facts or general truths. What are general facts or general truth? General facts are those facts which are clear to all. It means a fact which is completely clear to general or to all people. That also general facts are divided or broken in two sections: changeable general facts and unchangeable general facts. What are changeable general facts? Changeable general facts are those truths that they are able to change in a term of time, or in a period of time it can change. For example, he is a teacher. Now he is a teacher, it is a general fact. But after many years, he may change his profession and he may become a doctor. And the next one is unchangeable general facts. Unchangeable, or also we consider he is a child. Now he is a child, but after many years he can become youth. So for we consider it as changeable. Okay, let's talk about unchangeable general facts. What are unchangeable general facts? Unchangeable general facts are those facts that there is no possibility of changing. For example, God is great. We can say God is great. It is completely an unchangeable general fact or unchangeable general truth. Or also we can say the sky is blue. I'm a boy. It is completely a general truth. We cannot change our gender. So for we can say it is an unchangeable general truth or fact. Let's talk about the fourth usage of simple present tense. That where else can we use simple present tense? We also can use simple present tense for direction. It means when we are giving someone instructions or directions, we can use from simple present tense. For example, go straight ahead and turn left. We are going to give direction to someone. It is called, we use simple present tense for direction. Okay, let's talk about the fifth usage of simple present tense. We also can use simple present tense to talk about daily activities or routine activities. What are daily activities? Daily activities are those activities that we are just accomplishing, or we are doing it daily, or we're doing it every day. For example, I can say that I wake up from sleep at 5 every morning. It means it is my daily activity, and I get ablution or perform a prayer. So for we can say we're talking about our daily activities with simple present tense. Okay, where else can we use simple present tense? We also can use simple present tense to talk about fixed arrangements. What are fixed arrangements? Fixed arrangement are those arrangements that they're completely fixed and we cannot just bring any changes on it. For example, I arrive tomorrow. It means that I'm in London. We can say that I'm departing today and I can arrive tomorrow. It is completely fixed arrangement. Okay, let's talk about simple present tense with future construction. Also, we can use simple present tense with a future sentence to talk about future actions or with future construction. For example, I can say that I will find it before I leave. It means I will find it as future tense, and also before I leave, it also means that something will happen in the future. I will find it before I leave. Simple future tense with simple present tense with a future construction. Okay, let's talk about the structure of simple present tense. There are many uses or many places that we can use simple present tense, but today we only talked about 7 places that we can use simple present tense. Okay, what are the structure for simple present tense? There are 2 different structure for simple present tense, one for first person and second person, and the other is for third person, but we include all the structure in one forms. For example, the formative structure for simple present tense is subject plus verb, and also if we or the subject or the doer of an action is the first person or the second person, we cannot use s or es after our verb. But if the subject or the doer of our sentence is third singular, on the time we need to use from s and es accurately, and plus the object or complement on the one which complete the meaning of our sentence. And then interrogative structure for simple present tense is do does plus subject plus verb plus complement. It means as I talked about kinds of verb that also we need to use from auxiliary verbs or from do does or from to do verbs to change the form of our sentence from a formative form to negative form, interrogative form, negative interrogative form. Okay, let's talk about the negative structure. The negative structure for simple present tense is subject plus the auxiliary verbs, which are do, does, or to do verbs, plus not plus verb plus complement. And what is the structure for a negative interrogative form? Do, does, or to do verb plus subject plus not plus verb plus complement. Okay, there are 2 structures for negative interrogative form. One is the negative interrogative form without contraction, and without contraction that we are using it in formal way. In formal way, first do and does, after subject, after not, and also after verb and complement. The receiver of the action, or also we can say the object. But the next structure, which is negative interrogative, informal, or the contract form, we're using not before our subject. Do does plus not plus subject plus verb plus complement or the receiver. And do not forget to use the question mark at the end of your interrogative sentences, because they are completely mandatory in writing. Okay, the next structure is with WH question. If you want to make a sentence with WH question, you need to use WH question first. After that, do does plus subject plus verb plus complement. And now on, we're going to talk about the rules of using s and es, and we will have some examples. And now on, it is time to talk about structures for simple present tense and also using s and es for third singulars. What is the structure? The first structure, as I mentioned, that subject plus verb s or es for third singulars plus object or plus complement. For example, she teaches English. In this place, we use es at the end of our verb because the doer of the action is the third singular. She teaches English. It is an affirmative structure. The next one is, does she teach English? This is the interrogative structure we use from does. But I want to remark one place. When you're using from do and does, because for first and second person which we are using do, there is no rules of s and es. For third singulars, for he, she, it, when the verb given s or es, or when the verb ending with s and es, by using the to do verbs or by using does, you need to omit the rules, or you need to omit the s and es after your verb. For example, does she teach English? The verb or the bare infinitive should come without s and es. Does she teach English? The interrogative form, she does not or she doesn't. Does not, if we contract does not, the contraction of does not is doesn't. She doesn't or she does not teach English. Doesn't it is the negative interrogative without contraction. Does she not teach English? And the next one is negative interrogative with contraction. Doesn't she teach English? It is negative interrogative with contraction. Okay. With a structure of simple present tense, the interrogative structure with WH question. For example, what does she teach? We can say that she teaches English. Okay. Same like that, we can make this sentence, or we can make or we can change this example for first or for second person as well. For example, we can say that I teach English. Do I teach English? I do not teach English. Do I not teach English? Don't I teach English? Like this one. Okay, let's talk about using s and es with third singulars or with he, she, and it. How should we use s and es? What are the rules should be followed to use an es properly? The first place is when the verb ends with when the verb ends with y and the y precedes with a consonant letter. It means consonant plus y, we need to change y to I and add an es at the end of our verb. For example, let's study before y, or y precedes by a consonant letter. So we need to change y to I and add an es. Study studies. The second rule is when the verb ends with y and y is preceded by a vowel letter, on that time we only can use an s. For example, play, because there is an vowel letter before a, or a-e-i-o-u. When it comes before y, we only can use an s. We cannot change y to I. Play, plays. The next rule is when the verbs are ending with s, z, ch, sh, x, on that time we need to use from es. For example, teach, teaches, or wash, washes. The next place is that when or most verbs which are ending with other letters, without these letters, on that time we should use only from s. For example, work, works. I want to mention again that these rules are only for third singulars for he, she, and it, or for Ahmad, Ali, or Afghanistan, or a marker. Okay, so there are also some exceptions for some verbs with third singulars. When we are using the verb of do with first or second person, we should use from do, and for third person, does. For first and second, go. For third person, we need to use from goes. For first person, we need to use from am, and or for third singular we need to use from is, and for first and second person we need to use from have, and for third person we need to use from has. Okay, something that I also want to mention, that is it possible to use from to be verb ism or in simple present tense? Yes, of course we can use ism or in simple present tense, but as a main verb or as a linking verb. For example, he is a boy. Is he a boy? He is not a boy. Is not he a boy? Isn't he a boy? And it is also using of to be verbs in simple present tense as the main verb or as the linking verb. Okay, boys and girls, it was our today's lecture about simple present tense usage structures, the rules of using s and es with third singulars. In case of any question, any suggestion, any complaints, you can text me and also you can comment me. Do not forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Wish you all the best. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.